Alright, so we've learned a little bit about the Go workspace, and we've learned a little bit about environment variables and path variables. So now all of that is just to kind of, when you type in Go env, and Go env is another command, env prints out the Go environment variables. We need to have two environment variables set for Go to work. That sounds weird. I'm going to go to work. We need to have the Go root. So that needs to point. That needs to point to wherever our Go stuff is installed. So basically you're going to download Go and install it, and it'll get put somewhere. Go root points to that. So on a Mac, by default, that's going to be at that location. And in Windows, by default, I'm pretty sure it's C:/Go or whatever C Windows notation is. And then you also need your Go path. And Go path points to your workspace. Only have one workspace. Just one workspace. That's it. Don't have multiple workspaces until you've done Go for 5 years. And the language is only 4 years old. Until you've done Go for 6 months. So you need to have those two environment variables set, and then you also need to set, I wonder if it works like that, or does it have to be all uppercase? There we go. Then you also need to set this one in your path variable, user local go bin. And in your path variable, you also want to set to this. So if you do install some binary executable, you could just type in the name of that executable and it'll run. So those are the 4 environment variables we need. So the process for getting Go up and running is going to be first to go to golang.org and choose download Go. And so the most common recent ones are right here. Okay, and we'll talk about the SHA-256 checksum more towards the end of this video for people who don't know what that is. So you're going to download and install Go, and then you're going to set your environment variables. So let's take it step by step. And the first thing we're going to do is download and install Go. And then the next thing we'll do is set our environment variables. Okay. So now I'll tell you about the SHA-256. So if I downloaded for Apple OS 10, so I'm just going to download that, and I actually need to download it because that's the new version. So I'm going to keep this. So it's now downloaded. It's right here. And so that is in downloads. And I could go to my terminal, and change directory takes me to my root, and then change directory downloads. And I always forget this command, Mac SHA-256 checksum. So I just Google it, how to generate MD5 SHA-256 checksums. Like I said, I'm no coding genius. Everything I've learned is from like many hours of hitting my head against my laptop. And it's just, it looks like SHA-1, SHA-A256, and then the path to the file. I'm not sure what the -A does, but let's just try it. And so downloads, and I could do SHA sum. And I'm going to try it without any 256. And then the path to the file, just see if it gives me any options. That didn't give me options. No options. Here we go. So I hit my tab twice, and it gave me all the files that are there. And I want Go 1.7. See what happens? And so when I did all that, it gave me 37F5 1BD is the end. And so here, I need to pause this. Pause. Here I have E7, so that's not the right checksum. Let me try it. 726 C0 C0. Let me try it with the dash A. So let's add that dash A in. Bam. E70, B22. E70 is the front, B22 is the back. I guess you do need the dash A. And here you can see E70, E70, dash B2, and then B22 is the end. And so that SHA checksum, 256 checksum, is a hash algorithm, meaning a hash algorithm takes stuff and it produces some value. And the value that's produced will always be the same if the input is the same. And so they're saying you're downloading this file, and when we ran the SHA-256 checksum against it, we got this value. I download the file, and then I run the SHA-256 against it, and if the input is the same, so if they use this, and what I use is exactly the same as what they used, I'm going to get the same value. So that just means that the file I downloaded is the file that was intended. Does that make sense? So that's just a check to make sure that, you know, nobody's messed with the file that they were intending to give me. Interesting, huh? Like nobody like substituted it and said, no, install this in transit or something. I don't know. It's just kind of like an interesting thing. So go, download it, install it, and that's step 1.